It's your show. Go ahead. You got the show today. No, I'm serious. You got the show. Go ahead. You got the pretty background going. It look good today.
It really does look good.
Nice.
It really does.
It look good today. No, I'm just messing because I'm gonna hear this later anyway. So you know, how you doing, Dr. P? How you doing today?
We're doing great.
Doing good, real good. Really, really excited about this conversation because y'all got love and business on lock.
Well, yeah. You know what? We are really working. It's a lot of moving parts, and you know, this young lady really handles like everything. She really is just amazing. I know we've been going back and forth, and I'm not saying they're trying to get on her good side. We just. She is amazing. Just, you know, the thought processes that she has, the brain, you know, these brain childs that she has, and, you know, her thought process and how she's able to put them together, you know. And once she get going, it is, yeah, like it be to the point like, yo, stop, leave me alone. But she go, and you would much rather have that on your team, because I've had, you know, folks on my team that didn't give me that at all. And that's why I went looking for her. You know, that's why I went looking for her.
A man that finds a wife finds a good thing, huh?
Well, and then she chased me, you know. She wanted she wanted this young boy in her life.
That didn't happen. I didn't chase him at all.
She wanted this young boy in her life, Dr. P. Hey, Eric, you know, like
I didn't chase him. And however, I know that.
Do you want to feel my chest?
No, thank you. I did not chase him. He wish I chased him. I look a lot better than some of the things that did chase him.
That's right.
And you know, talking about transparency, it's funny because we have these conversations all the time.
We do. We really do have open conversations. It's crazy. People be like,
right. People are kind of like amazed that I'm like, well, you know, I did deal with this person already. I tell her, so it doesn't catch her from. She's not hoodwinked and bamboozled, not, you know, caught off guard and that sort of thing. You know what I'm saying? You know,
you're talking real good with that right there.
The key is that you know, you and we all have been married before, so you know, real talk. The key is that we made mistakes the first time around. The second time, what I did know is I want to be with my best friend.
That's it.
You know, I want my foundation to be friendship. I want to be with my best friend, and that's just it. Simple as that. Because when we don't like each other, because I love you as a friend, that foundation will always be there. You know, we don't always like each other, but I'm never not gonna love him.
That's what's up. Something you said, Jay, is key. She did want to touch your chest, Jay. She did want to touch it. Stop it, Dr. Cassie.
I promise you I did.
She said it down. All right, so I'm gonna let you go back and sit up there. She's like, your chest really,
stop. Don't tell people my
big.
business. Don't tell me my business. Stop telling my business.
See that work, right?
Stop telling my business. Don't tell my business.
I'm sorry. All right, we play.
The most important things we can do is laugh together, man. Like y'all, we was having a little bit of a, you know, some stuff since we keeping it all the way real.
Yeah,
it's been a little crazy today, but the laughing that is contagious. Like y'all just bringing that energy is just contagious. It is so important to be married to your best friend. That is so good, and it's so important.
And Dr. P, we're not married.
We're
not married.
Well, I know. I'm speaking those things. I think I know a little bit, but I'm speaking those things that, you know, I'm going to shut up now, though. I'm going to shut up.
Put it into the universe.
Put it into the universe.
I get it.
He can't live without me, though, so you know.
He just said it. You ain't hear him say it? He just said it. He said, this time I went looking for...
Right, I did.
A visionary is what he said.
Come on,
who could split things and make them happen.
Dr. P, I'm glad you said that. He said this time I went what?
Looking for. I heard him. You got a witness.
Now, let's just talk. Let's unpack that statement. Right?
Yes. Come on.
Because it's in my spirit. I'm so glad you finally said it. Because 5 minutes prior, you said I chased
okay.
you.
So let's clear that.
Come on, Jay. Don't backpedal now. Come on, bro. You said it, bro.
No, let's clear the whole thing up. Let's clear the whole thing up.
Do it.
What I went looking for was I knew I was at a ceiling in my career. Really, I'm really accountable and transparent, and really felt like great DJ, great radio personality, great host, and I have, you're never gonna see me off. And I'm like, why am I at this ceiling? I just been at the ceiling for so long. Even at Radio Baltimore, Howard Major, the general manager, asked me at year 13, how long were you here? I said 13 years. He said, why were you here so long? Now this is my general manager talking, right?
Wow.
But I didn't feel like he was saying anything in malice. I felt like what he was saying was the truth. So, and I still sat there. I still gave him another 5 years because I just didn't get it. You know what I mean? I didn't get it.
Right.
And I'm looking, and I'm like, I need to get over the hump. So I'm thinking, this young lady, our kids went to the same school.
Well, how are you thinking that?
Let me finish. Look, I'm telling you, I'm thinking, I thought I saw, and I'm like,
no, you didn't.
Let me finish.
He's not telling
Well, no, I am. I'm saying that I wanted to get on Sirius XM, and you produced the person who hired me at Q.
But how do you think about
so
me?
I said,
I spoke to you at the school.
No, I said, let me talk to this lady and see if she can get me, I can talk to her. And then she acted like she didn't want to, I don't want to talk there. I don't want to deal with anybody from Baltimore, blah, 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 blah. You didn't say that?
Well, I did say all of that.
Okay.
But that's not how it happened. So
I
pulled up in the parking lot and I saw you. And I was like, is that Jay Claxton over there? Looking good in the car? That's what happened.
Well, all the Dr. P, all the women at the school was after me. All of them.
It was hard.
Yeah.
It was a talk. I
didn't know that. I talking to town.
Yeah.
I didn't know that he had a child that went there. Literally, I just got off a train because I did produce in New York. I got off a train and was excited about picking my son up, and I pulled up early, and I looked and I was like, oh, that looked like Jay Claxton. That's not Jay Claxton. I don't think he has any little kids. And then I looked and was like, oh, hi, Jay. And then he said, I've been wanting to talk to you. I'm thinking, how?
My mom was moving, and then she told me how she didn't want to deal. She didn't want to do business with anybody from the hometown, and blah, 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 blah. This long song and that.
And I didn't. So that's enough about us, but let's talk about you guys. Tell us what you have going on.
What do we have going on?
We have a lot going on. So let me just start off what we do have going on. So we've been married for about 7.5 years now, and been together about yes, I was chasing. I was chasing her, definitely. Yeah, man, I was chasing her. I was running, man. Story. Listen, I was in Philly, chasing her over in Havre de Grace, Maryland.
Okay. Oh, that's right.
And that ain't that far of a drive though, E, but it's far enough of a drive to show, like, you get some credit for that drive.
He got some credit for the drive because we had a whole lot going on both sides, right?
Yeah. And so, we both had been married before. She was, I can let her tell her story, but I was married for about 16 years, and from that marriage, we had 3 children. And my first wife, she had passed away when our youngest son was 4 years old. And so, it's like after maybe a couple of years almost being single. And we met on Christian Mingle. And so
stop right there. Stop right there. We didn't know that story.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, and prior to her, like a couple of months before I had met her, I had went out and dated a couple of other women, but it just wasn't. It just wasn't. And we had similar some things that were similar in values and spiritual values and stuff, but it just wasn't. You know how like it's like everything else seems like it's right, but just some stuff was just it just wasn't clicking, and they weren't bad people. Right. It just weren't the one.
Right. Eric, I told that to him. I told him, I was like, you ain't never gonna be happy unless you with me.
Well, let me tell you about his Christian Mingle story real quick. He wanted to skip past that. I think we should pause right there. So that was my first time. I know people say that, but honestly, I never did the online dating thing because I don't know what generation y'all grew up in, but in my generation, he's a little bit older than me. We didn't really do too much online dating, right? No. We just date. Like, I see you at the club, you see me at the club, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what we did. If you was checking for me and I gave you the right number, then we continued, right? So,
right.
But so I wasn't into that. Go ahead.
Let me ask you this, and I'm being a little funny, but I'm being real as well.
Yeah. Was
it a name that you had? Because like I seen a comedian, and comedian had this crazy name for Christian Mingle. Like, did you have? Was it like your real name, or you had like
on Christian Mingle?
Yeah.
They put fake names on it?
No, so I'm saying
your handle. You got a handle. Yeah, you don't have a real name. Mine was set apart. Set apart 1028. That was mine.
That was yours?
I was set apart. I'm still set apart. I ain't regular. I'm not a regular chick.
Say that. Hey, E, what was your handle?
I think mine was Psalms 27.
He was super spiritual when I met him. I had to listen to my
really wholesome. He was really wholesome. He was really wholesome.
Well, let me tell you
why. Trash.
He wasn't. What you call him, wholesome? I think I'm gonna call you that later.
Wholesome. Yeah. So how did that work? Like, really, like how did that work? Okay, so you guys there, but you know the talking, and it's like because basically you going on a blind date.
That's exactly right. So that's what I was getting to. I didn't know how to do it because I didn't come from that. So apparently on online dating, you're not supposed to like give your phone number out. You're supposed to do the whole. That's why I was laughing at his relationships he had prior to me because they was talking online forever. And they didn't really. So when I met him, I had been on Christian Mingle for maybe 3 days, and the first night, my sister actually was like, "You should you're not gonna meet nobody at church. Like, you busy, you got the kids, you're not gonna meet." She tried to kind of talk me into it, and I was seeing a couple of couples that had made it, right? That had been married several years and it was successful for them. So I was like, I don't know about that, but I'll try it. So one night, the kids are asleep. I was like, okay, I'll make a profile. I'll make a profile. I'm gonna ignore the foolishness. I'm gonna make a profile, right? So I make the profile. I wake up the next morning and it's like a lot of people checking for me. Like, they say they're looking at you or whatever, they're checking you out but not too many of those people that were flirting were actually, saying something in the inbox.
Right.
So he and like a few others actually said something. So I'm checking out the ones that are saying something and what he said. I went to his profile and it was like one long run-on sentence about how much he loved his kids. And I just thought it was cute. Like, I was like, because I love my kids. Right. So I was like, okay. I sent him a quick message like, all right, well, you can give me a call sometime. And I sent my number. Wrong move. You're not supposed to do that online dating. He could have been a crazy man, but I didn't know that. Right. So he calls me the next day right? Mm-hmm. We start talking. 3 hours later, we still talking.
Right.
I had to go because I had to go out with my girlfriends. We had a birthday dinner that night. And I'm like, wait a minute, 3 hours just passed and I was enjoying that, right? So I went out, we went to the dinner.
Say that again.
I was enjoying his conversation.
That's right.
Okay?
That's right. Talk that talk.
I was enjoying this conversation.
Talk that talk, man.
So I went out, and then I left the dinner and I was like, well, I'm thinking about dude. Like, what am I thinking about him?
Right.
Maybe I'm like checking for him. So 2 weeks we talking back and forth, and we were talking. We had a lot to talk about, and he was talking good. Like he had conversation. It wasn't just stupid stuff about how good he looked, and you know what I mean, just stuff that men talk about. But so we met up 2 weeks. I actually went to Philly to meet him. We had a weekend date. I stayed in the hotel. He came to the hotel to pick me up, like public place. He wasn't getting in the hotel, so he came to the lobby. We went out, and it was a real nice. We had, and he was a little nervous, but I was like, if nothing else happens, we'll be friends. I'm not gonna tell you it was fireworks, and we had a real good friendship. Who said that? Jay or Dr. CaSay? Which one? Yes, the friendship. It was just on point, but my heart was not like completely healed, right? I was still going through stuff, and I wasn't ready to really, really I made that profile because I was just ready to go out to dinner.
Right.
I was ready. You know what I mean? I wasn't looking for nobody's husband. I wasn't looking to be a wife at that point. So but it happened really, really fast. I'm going to fast forward. It happened really, really fast. Mm-hmm. Our connection, we kind of knew after a short time, but then I got real scared and I broke up with him.
I think that's what happened to Jay. I think Jay knew that Jay said we had a connection. And then I think he got nervous into his lifestyle.
Because I didn't, that's not what I wanted. I didn't want to work with the person I was dealing with.
Right.
So how's it?
It's all right.
It's just all right.
It's all right.
It's just all right.
I mean, if I say that's all right, then that means it's great.
Okay.
I don't talk. That's how I talk.
I was asking you, was it just all right?
But no, I understand. Where did you? Where was the first date? I mean, so that weekend, where was the memorable dinner at?
So you want to answer that?
Yeah, interesting question. We actually went. Gosh, I was just talking to the kids about this the other day.
We went to Dave & Buster's.
Dave & Buster's. Yes,
we went there to play to shoot pool. We went to go shoot pool, but it was like packed. So that night we went to dinner.
Famous Dave's.
We went to Famous Dave's, y'all. And I was like, I'm not a salad chick. So if you're looking for a salad chick, I'm not her. So I was eating, I was getting it in, eating, and he was just like, she's real comfortable right now. She's real comfortable. So that's, then after that, we went to Famous Dave's and it was packed. So we didn't stay. We went to a movie. So that was the first night. He dropped me back off at the hotel. He tried to kill me on the way, though. He made this U-turn, and I was like, when you 70, I'm taking your license. That's what I told him that night. So I guess I must have knew we was. Man, he tried to kill me. He made this U-turn. I was like, what is happening right now?
Yeah. I understand.
I tell you know what I mean? Like, he's the one that drives when you guys go out.
He does most of the time.
Yeah, most of the time, yeah.
Right. I'm the driver.
I ain't taking the license.
I don't want her to drive.
He's the driver, but it's not that I can't drive.
That's not what I
Jay's
said.
a control freak, so he has to drive.
So I'm the control freak, if we're honest, about the driving. So if we're in a hurry, I drive. If we're not in a hurry, he drives. But if we go long distances,
if we're in a hurry, he drives. If we're not in a hurry, he drives.
Long distances, I drive. So for me to relinquish that, I'm tired. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm really beat. relinquish that.
Yeah.
I am beat.
You don't mind me driving.
Yeah, I don't mind it driving. We actually, that's one of the things we love to do together, actually, is to have long drives together, just to spend time and to talk. You know, that those are, for both of us, that's one of our favorite pastimes.
Right. We get a lot accomplished when we drive. You know, we fly back and forth to Atlanta a lot. You know, from Atlanta to Baltimore, Baltimore to Atlanta, but we drive a lot from Atlanta to Baltimore, Baltimore, Atlanta. And that drive is a lot of times where we get some of the working relationship.
Yeah.
A lot of that is done on 85. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because by the time we get, you know, going up, by the time we get to 95, it's kind of, he's already said what she needed to say. We've already talked, and now I'm listening to whatever I'm listening to. But a lot of work gets done, a lot of progress gets made, you know, on the highway.
I agree with that. I agree. We don't take that trip as much. We take trips, you know, to different places, but it's a lot of vision casting that happens, and plans for, you know, what we're doing next and how, because like you, I never thought this was possible, because in my past relationship, you know, I can't imagine us working together on a regular, or, you know, on an everyday basis. So, but here it's like we have learned how to let each other flow in the lanes that we've mastered, right? That we're masterful in. And so we yield. We know how to yield and submit to one another in various areas without, you know, we both talkers. So sometimes we bump head with that. Like we talk over each other something. But we try to just remind each other gracefully, like, I need to be heard, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that opportunity, those undisturbed opportunities to just cast vision and level up.
Let me ask you a question. How important is it to have to one, have those rides, and two, how important is it to carve out time for each other?
It needs to be a priority. It needs to be something that's consistent and like a routine, really. And I think even if you get to the point where you have a hard time struggling to do it, you got to be intentional about planning it, like putting it on a calendar and setting the date. You know, else, because of it, it's like what we tell our kids a lot of times: if it's not on the calendar, then it's not going to happen.
Right. So prioritization is key, and also taking things off the calendar that are eating up the time that one another deserves. You know what I mean? Because it's very easy to even put kids, ministry, whatever in the place of that connectedness. So you were going to say something, sir?
You know, what I did want to find out, but we kind of skipped subjects because I didn't want to go back, was about that Dave and Buster's date. And the reason why I wanted to bring that up is because I think that a date like that is really shows what kind of person that you are talking to. You know, it's not. It's you guys are having fun. You know, you can compete a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It's not bottom of the barrel, and it's not 5 stars.
Exactly.
You're gonna find out some things. You know, I feel like with a Dave and Buster's date. So
that's good.
At that date, what did y'all play? Do you remember? Who was the winner? Who was the competitor? Like that's, you know, that's interesting. That's what I think the fun comes in that.
You're right. Well, we remember it was crowded at Dave and Buster's, so we left. But remember, there was a day 2 of our date that we didn't get to yet. So after I went to the hotel, he actually was a pastor, so we got up the next morning. He did his service, and he came to meet up with me afterwards. So we went to lunch.
I hurried up through that service, bro. Lock up when you can lock up. I gotta be out of here by 1.
Right. You had to make a move, huh? Right.
So that's where we found out where the competitiveness happened, though, because we still wanted to get our playtime in. So we went bowling. He had never had a massage, which massage is like essential for me. And I had a membership to Massage Envy. So we both went and got massages. Then we went to dinner. So we had a full 2-day date, and that was our first date.
Yeah.
But to answer, I'm probably way more competitive, but I sadly lost very.
Always. We went bowling, and as always, Wow.
Okay.
No, I had a question.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, go ahead and ask your question. I knew you were going to say nothing about bowling.
No,
I knew she was going to say nothing about bowling.
We've never bowled together, so.
You've seen me bowl.
Yeah, but you've never seen me, so.
No, I've seen you bowl.
You've never seen me bowl.
Yes, I
have. When did I
have.
ever bowl around you?
When we was out Valero, at that first at one of the meetings.
Oh, you mean when we went with to meet about the clothes?
Yes.
And you talking about when I've just been diagnosed with lupus, so everything.
Oh, now you want to use that?
No, I don't use excuses. I never use excuses. That's what we know.
Okay.
So I don't. That's what you're talking about. Then okay, what you did.
I think we should go bowling together, y'all. I think that's what it's looking like.
Listen, she knows she don't want that smoke.
So honestly, what I'm not gonna do is go back and forth because Jay likes to pump his chest up. So I'm not gonna do that. I'm not giving him that today. But so everything about your first date really spoke of how you wanted to truly get to know each other. But I like the spontaneity that was in it as well. How important is it to maintain that spontaneity and be spontaneous in your relationship?
I'm gonna let you go. You want to go first?
Sure. I think the spontaneity is just as important as the planning. You need both. You need the rigidness and structure. At the same time, you need the flow. And the spontaneity is the flow, because sometimes because it's just that part of us to be able to enjoy things. Everything pleasurable doesn't have to be planned. That's part of the pleasure of it, is it being exciting, catching people off guard, catching them by surprise. And that elevates the joy level in the relationship.
Right.
For me, spontaneity is really important, especially, it's a grown folks show, right?
Yeah.
I don't want no regular stuff all the time. Like, I need you to keep it spicy, keep it interesting. I need to be attracted to you. I need you to take care of yourself. I need to want to come after you. See, a lot of times men say they want to be pursued, but then they don't want to do the work to make us want to pursue them. Because you sitting on the couch scrolling on your phone ain't sexy. So, for me, spontaneity, I know I took it to the left a little bit, but spontaneity speaks to all of that.
No, that's real.
Let me ask you a question, because you took it in that direction. So as a couple, do you think that as a couple, if it's lack of spontaneity or if it's lack of certain things, the other one may feel a certain way, or how do you think that affects your partner?
I think communication is key. Exactly. I think there have been times in our relationship where one or the other has, let's just say, lacking in an area, but I can't expect him to read my mind, right? So I have to communicate to him what I need more of, what's too much for me, where I'm at in a season. So, for example, there's a lot going on from the health perspective with my children and my mom, right? With one of my children and my mom. So I might not be able to be as spontaneous as I could be in another season, right? But me going out or being taken care of or wined and dined might be more important right now, because I'm a caregiver in so many other capacities. So sometimes I need somebody to take care of me, and I don't need to plan it all the way out. You know what I mean? Right. So I can't expect him to navigate all that. Yeah,
Right.
Go ahead.
Right. She says that to me all the time. She says that to me all the time because I'm really a spontaneous guy. I don't really plans. I don't do plans.
No. That's not true. You're not spontaneous. You're not spontaneous. You don't like a schedule, but you're not spontaneous. Spontaneous is you call me and say, hey, we're going to Philly to our favorite restaurant. That's spontaneous. You don't like a schedule. It's two different things. You don't like to be on a schedule because you don't like the confinement. Being spontaneous or having the spontaneity is like, for instance, I'm a giver. So I like to surprise and put stuff together. Whereas though that's what I was gonna say. That's not what I was gonna say. Whereas though I can't do that because I know that I'm not gonna get a firm answer from him as to where he's gonna be or anything like that. So I can't do that, and I'll get a backlash of, well, just tell me what it is. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, sometimes you gotta allow me to take care of you, and sometimes you're taking away my joy about relationship when I can't see certain things, or I don't see certain smiles, or I don't hit certain things. And I want to do things that you don't expect or you've never had before. And sometimes I feel like that's taking that joy from me, you know.
Right.
So it's not,
I get that.
It's not always about the other person. Sometimes if you are a giver, you enjoy giving and seeing that delight.
Yes, yes. Yeah. Before I say what I want to say, I wanted to hear you.
I have nothing to say, Doc. I didn't have nothing to say. She know I don't like being surprised. I hate that. I don't know why. Tell me. I know, because I could tell you probably, if you want to do something for me, I could tell you what I need more than you surprising me. I could give you, you know what I'm saying? I just, you know, I may need something a little more than what you gave, and what you gave costs more than what I really needed. So just tell me, you know what I mean?
But it's not always about you and you counting the person's pockets. You take that joy and delight away. And I think that because you don't like to be surprised, you don't know how to render that back. So, like, I want the surprises. I want to see like, oh, just came with some flowers because I know that's something that you wouldn't do. But I think because you don't like it, you don't know how to give it.
Wow, that's a good point. So you getting into an area. You said what's up with us? Brass Wellness Group is all about helping people to dissect what you just discussed right there. Right. That's what we do as a couple on a regular basis. We coach couples. And so what you're speaking to, Dr. CaSay, is love languages, and the difference in what you desire to receive and what you give. Oftentimes we give what we desire to receive, but that is not what the other person deems as love, right? And so we're missing each other. So people spend years and years and years missing each other in marriages and in relationships because they're giving each other what they want. And for example, I love acts of service, and he loves words of affirmation. I'm gonna be honest. Words of affirmation I could go without. If I think I'm cute, I'm cute. If I think I'm smart, I'm smart. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need somebody to tell me that most of the time. Sometimes it feels good. It's nice. It's okay, but it's not what I need. Right. I need you to help me with the laundry. I need you to help me vacuum. I need to know that, you know, my dreams are supported by you. Those kinds of things. I need that. That is what I need. So if he spends all of his time giving me words of affirmation, I'm like, and then doesn't follow through on the things that he says, like, you so wonderful, I give you the world, but yet and still you sit on the couch and not doing nothing, don't got a job. Like, that to me ain't love, right? But for him, I can serve him till the day. Like, sometimes I find myself trying to serve him, like make him dinner, And he's like in the kitchen with me doing it. I'm like, would you sit down somewhere? Let me just serve you. But so we have to learn each other, and we have to meet each other in the space of what we actually really need. So Jay, she's crying out right now. She's saying, like, will you let me love on you in this way, because I'm a giver and I love to give. So allow me. But I heard something else before you even get there, and we going all the way in right now. I'm sorry, but but I heard something else. Like you said you the control freak in the relationship, right? That has a little bit to do. That has a little bit to do with why you need to know.
Yeah, I do like to be in control. I do. I do. You know, just because it's only been me. You know, like I don't have any brothers or sisters. It's just me. You know what I mean? And but I'm really giving. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm really giving you shit off my back. You know what I mean? That's just type of guy that I am. And
which is true. He's very giving. But what I try to explain to him is that as giving as he is, sometimes you have to allow someone to give to you, because the statement is always, who takes care of the caretaker? You can't be the caretaker and take care of yourself. So, and I've said this to him, sometimes you have to allow me to take care of you, or allow me to handle things, you know, just because I'm watching you give to the world, you know, and the world is not necessarily seeing what I'm seeing, you know, in the background. And so sometimes you have to allow that and not really try to control it. One of the questions I wanted to ask you is, do you find as you talk to different couples, maybe one has studied the love language of the other, but the other one just does their thing instead of
often.
Well, that's me.
Yeah,
that's you.
So I don't agree with you.
I don't know. I think I'm straight and narrow.
No, I wasn't doing that straight and narrow. Okay. Yeah, you are straight and narrow, but I don't agree with the fact that you don't know. Let me say this. Jay may not know my love language, but he has paid attention enough to know the things that I need, and he makes sure that it happens. So he may not know my exact love language. However, he does. So that's why I said I wouldn't say that about you at all.
We could always go higher in love, though, right? Yeah. We could always do a better job at loving each other, right? So of course you're with him because he loves you in a way that feels good to you, that works for you, and vice versa. However, okay, so can we play a little game real quick, just a little small game? Do you know
what? We can, because at 8:45, at 8:50, you have to play our game.
Okay. So the 5 love languages: physical touch, acts of service, gifts, words of affirmation, and what's the last one?
Physical touch.
No, I said physical touch, gifts, words of affirmation, acts of service. Which one am I missing? Quality time.
Quality time, yeah.
Out of those 5, Jay, what would you say is, just guessing, we're going to send you the assessment a little bit right after this. Text it. What would you say is Dr. Cassie's love language?
Probably quality time.
Quality time. And Dr. Cassie, what would you say is Jay's love language?
I mean, we kind of been, you know, we've done this before briefly, but go ahead.
I didn't hear her question. You started talking.
I'm sorry.
What would you say is Jay's quality love language?
Acts of service.
Acts of service. So you serve him often?
I try my best. I've actually sent him a text saying, I miss doing this, I miss doing that, and all of it is acts of service.
And hers is quality time. So you are doing your best to spend quality time? Because I think that was a question earlier you had for us. How important is that? So do you prioritize quality time with Dr. CaSay?
Yeah, and even if we can't, if we moving and we got family business, at least, you know, that we're talking, you know what I mean, that we're talking. You know, I try, because I do know that I'm a work in progress.
No, right, we all are.
Yes.
Wow, you do it. Like, I wouldn't, so I'm going to stop him. I'm not going to say he tries. He does it. He does it. He does it. Like I'm not gonna not give you your credit. Like he does it. You know, he's gonna somehow or another, if he's handling something, he's gonna find a way to dip and dab in and call, even if it's just for him to call so that I hear his voice. He's gonna make sure that he does that. And I acknowledge that and I appreciate that, because it hasn't always been, you know, like that, but he has done a really great job at making sure that that happens.
So that's good.
That's great.
I'm not going to allow you to downplay it, because you really do. You do.
So it's that secondary language of gift giving that is not, you haven't quite worked out how to receive gifts, Jay.
Right,
because you want to control that dynamic, and she's like, I need you to, it really boils down to trust, right? Like, will you just trust me with not the unknown? And that's what vulnerability is.
Yeah.
Is trusting the unknown, because you have to make a decision that I'm going to take this risk and I don't know how this is going to end up into me see. So
right. Well, I won't jump. I don't really have a problem with jumping, but I don't really have a problem with jumping. I'll take a shot. I'll take a chance. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just, you know, you miss 1,000% of the shots that you don't take.
Don't take. So, amen.
Definitely.
I don't know. How do we say it's true? Because I feel like you trust me, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
No. It's not that he doesn't trust you. That's not what I mean. I mean, trusting the unknown, meaning, so he's saying, I don't know what you're going to do, so I'm not going to, just tell me what you're going to do, and then I'll tell you if it's good. Remember what he just said. I'm just basing it off of what he said. So it's his control of himself. See, the good thing is he's a lot of people are stuck in other control. He's got self-control on another level, and it's the trusting someone else with self. Not that he doesn't trust you, that you're not a good person or you're not gonna, you know what I'm saying? But trusting someone with you, because he said it himself. I mean, I'm a listener, so I heard everything he said. He said, I've been the only child. There's nobody. It's just been me. So he's used to taking care of self. So to trust somebody else with that is a big step. See, it's not always about the other person. Most of our stuff is our stuff, but we project our stuff, and then when we share our life with other people, they experience our stuff.
Yeah. Things about us from our past, they experience that also. Things that we don't even realize it's even there.
Right. And you know, it's crazy, because I really feel like this is the reason why we do this podcast. You know, we do this podcast because we give food, but it's a beautiful thing when the guests give the food back. And we can learn as we are trying to teach others. And that's
how it works.
And to celebrate, and I want to celebrate Black excellence, but just to celebrate excellence, period.
Yeah.
You know, we should be celebrated, because sometimes I think that we aren't celebrated the way that we should be.
Absolutely.
We just want to give, you know, flowers while you still can smell them, because
come on now.
That's part of it. And part of it is we don't give each other enough credit till after something happened and you can't get it, can't say it anymore. And you could have said, and now you're living with some regrets. So it's really about us, you know, really giving the food on this podcast. And what I do love is I love because it usually comes, she gets it. She'll come to me and say, hey, I spoke to so-and-so. And so-and-so said that they watched the podcast. And it's funny because they don't seem like they watched the podcast live, but they really go back and watch the podcast. And this has helped them through some relationships. You know,
yes.
And that's all it really is the fact that you guys are giving us food. I hear you loud and clear. I hear both of you guys loud and clear. And as we're giving food, we're giving that back to folks that may not be where we at right now, or could be past us. You know, it's still, you know, you still got information that you can take in. We never stop learning.
Right. Absolutely.
What I will say, and what I love about us, the dynamic of us, is the authenticity and the transparency. What's wrong?
It's real.
And what I mean by that is Jay's always gonna pat me on the back, and he's always gonna be my biggest cheerleader. And I try my best to do the same, you know, when it comes to things that he wants to do. And, you know, I try to be really supportive, but I also like to reinforce, hey, I don't want you to think I feel this way because I see what you're doing. You know, we'll have conversations. I'm like, you know, I really appreciate that you did X, Y, and Z, because I think a lot of times in growth, we don't necessarily tell a person, hey, I see it. And it just takes that 1 second to say, hey, I see it. You know, like, we had a conversation, boom, and I see you, I see the change. And so I really, like, I love everything about the dynamic of us, but I think it comes because our foundation is friendship. So
that's critical.
Yeah, that comes across so clearly with y'all. Like, even in your pictures, there's just there's something that is so connected with your vibe. You know what I mean? It's real. Y'all, even when we got on, you know, and y'all were just joking, somebody might, I don't know who would be judging that, but for me, that's real. That's authentic. That's what makes me so comfortable with connecting with you. And I think that's why you guys are having such a great impact on couples, because we've seen the fake. We've seen people act like it, and then, you know, next minute you in the news and it's this going on and that going on. Listen, let's just be real. We know we are real families. Things aren't always perfect, but let's figure this thing out together, right? And I love what you said, Jay. Like, we're learning from you. We're learning from you.
And you know, that's it. Let's just be authentic. And we make mistakes, and you know, it's just let's be woman enough and man enough to, you know, tell the mistakes as well. You know what I mean? Because I think we talk about social media a lot. Social media only shows you the good things. They only show you the wins. They don't show you the struggles, the losses. When you fell, when you scrape your knee up and your face is bloody, they don't show that. And you know, somebody on Instagram that is trying to be something or looking for something will see that and feel like, damn, that's how I gotta be. That's where I need to be. Because they're not showing you the marathon. They're not showing you the marathon. They only show you when it cross, you know, one of their finish lines. That's it.
That's right.
Interesting enough, I'm going to say this, and then we're going to go and play my game. Well, what I like about what you just said was, you know, how you have to be, just to sum it up, you have to be accountable, you know, and social media doesn't show, you know, the pains, you know. What I love, what I absolutely love, and it is one of the things that attracts me to him, is the fact that he is accountable. And, you know, life isn't perfect and we're not perfect, but what I love, and I said this to him, is that in a mistake or if something happens, he will say, he'll use the explicit, but I'm not going to. He'll say, you know, I messed this one up, you know, and he gives me the option of saying, okay, we can go further or boom. But the fact that you can come and say, I messed it up, so you know what, all right. You know what I'm saying? It's easier, you know, and I think that's what the issue is that so many people won't say, I did it, you know, how do we fix it? You know what I mean?
Right. That is such an important quality to have in any relationship. And just want to commend you, bro. Just being honest, because this is the area where many men struggle in their relationship is the honesty and transparency. Or what they'll do is this thing of trickling truth down, and they'll get bits and pieces of the truth. Then what actually happened comes out later on down the line, and that's worse. Right, because now you got the other person, you got your partner questioning, well, what else are you lying about? What else? What else is in the dark? And is that really true? And then by default, we actually put them in a situation where they got to go searching for the facts themselves. If the facts had, because we didn't volunteer the honest information that was actually required.
Right. And you know, I'm not searching for anything. So we're getting ready to play our game, but right before we play our game, I'm not searching. I ain't But before we play our game, what I want to do is say, you know, shout out to Donald. He actually put us together on the clubhouse. And he did.
We love you, Don.
Yeah. He just hit.
Love Donald.
Yeah. So 2 questions, right? First question, both questions, we're going to have an answer. I'm going to ask the question, and let me read what the question is first, see who's going to go first. Okay. I'm going to ask the question, and then we're going to answer it so that you can answer it, and we're going to be real quick with it, Jay, no long-winded answers.
I talk a
lot. So the first question is, and I'm going to answer first. The second one you'll answer first, okay? So the first question is, what do I deserve from you?
Honesty,
No. I have to answer what I deserve from you. And then you have to answer what you deserve from me. You get it? Okay. So I deserve. See?
This is tricky.
It's tricky?
Yeah.
Okay. So I deserve, I can't say, you were going to start off with, I deserve honesty and transparency, but I already have that, you know? So you give me that anyway. I deserve all of you. I deserve to be as supportive as I deserve as a human being, to be supportive of everything that you need. I deserve to be able to have your back if you fall backwards and push you back forward. I deserve to be able to be the best human that I should be for you and that you need me to be. That's what I deserve.
So that's tough. Because I feel like the things that I deserve, you know, you already give me, you know, honesty, transparency, you know, support. You are my, you know, me, you on the sidelines cheerleading for me. And that's important, you know, because not every business venture that we both do is going to be combined. Some of the stuff you want to do by yourself, some of the stuff I'm going to do by myself, and the stuff that I am doing by myself, I do watch you, and you are very supportive of that. and that means a lot. And you know, and I deserve. You are a lot more protective of me than I am of myself. You see what I'm saying? Like, you get a lot more upset if somebody does something concerning me than me. I don't even care because I can't control what somebody else does, but it gets under your skin. And I know that's only coming out of place of love. And, you know, I deserve all that.
So you two, what do you deserve?
That's a lot. Y'all a hard act to follow.
Right.
Okay, that was beautiful. That was
one.
Beautiful. Should I go first or he goes first? Which one?
Ladies first.
Okay. Ladies first. Oh, okay. So I deserve.
I'm sorry.
Say that again?
I said Queen Latifah and Moni Love, ladies first.
All right now. I deserve for it is difficult because a lot of what I deserve you give me, but I didn't know that I deserved it. A lot of it. I deserve patience with my shortcomings. I deserve honesty, given and received. I deserve for you to follow through on your word. I deserve for you to be accountable to what you've said you're going to do. And you do that. I deserve someone who is going to love our children and me and sacrifice for them and lead our household. And you do that very well. So I am pretty grateful because I feel like I deserve a man of God that takes care of business, and you do that. You got my back on every turn, and you trust me with your life, and I appreciate that, and I deserve that. That's what I got.
Okay.
You know what? I deserve the man of God that I have. Okay, I'm gone.